It's been building for a long time, and now the moment has finally arrived. The Dominion launch the mother of all offensives. Greetings, loyal members. This is the Dominion War. Now, last month, the Klingons launched an offensive, and as a result, actually made the Dominion delay their own offensive, though this is not because they are worried about being overrun by the Klingons, but actually because they plan on using it to draw the Klingons in and trap them when they launch their offensive. Meanwhile, the Federation becomes occupied with the threat to their north, and as a result, leaves their lines elsewhere very weakly defended. And this month, the Dominion take full advantage as they launch the Kalandra offensive, seizing the systems of Akali, Inkar, Korvan, Signet, Makkas and Beta Z, all in a matter of days. There is a Federation fleet at Beta Z, but they are caught completely by surprise and are easily driven off by the superior Dominion force. At the same time, the Klingons are actually continuing their offensive, not realise what is happening behind them. Two fleets from New Gaul and Nami advance on Atalia and actually drive the Cardassians off, but as a result they are driving themselves further and further into the Dominion trap. At the same time, the Federation actually unwisely deploys a fleet raised at Bellaris Prime and sends it north to Gaza Prime in order to protect the northern front. But unfortunately, they completely misread the situation, since at that very moment, the Dominion is already advancing in that direction. So by the 15th, the Dominion have seized 8 Federation systems in just under 2 weeks, and are now moving to close this pocket that they have created around the Pacifica sector. Meanwhile, the main Dominion frontline forces are also launching a counterattack against the Klingon fleets at Argelius and Artalia. Their goal is to force the Klingons into this pocket with the rest of the Klingon fleets and close it at around New Gaul and Nami. If they can do that, then they will have completely cut off 7 Klingon fleets and a Federation fleet. And their hope here is that they will actually successfully knock the Klingons out of the war. If they can surround and capture 7 Klingon fleets, that's over 700 ships, the Klingons are essentially forced to withdraw from the war. So it's a very, very bold gamble, but if they can pull it off, they can knock an entire combatant out of this war. Now, the Federation is no longer standing idly by, and they are rapidly redeploying. They redeploy 4 fleets from their frontline positions to reinforce the Federation fleet currently holding at Maclex. And this in fact includes the fleet that was sent to Gaza Prime, which halfway through is turned to immediately reverse course and return to the Bellaris sector. And while they do manage to essentially form something of a perimeter, a defensive line against the Dominion, it's still a thin line, and in fact there are still gaps around the Oceania sector. The Dominion can still outflank the Federation, and the Federation knows it. At the same time, the Dominion successfully drives the Klingons from Argelius and Artalia and closes the pocket around New Gaul and Nami. And as a result, while 3 Klingon fleets make it out, holding at Jaros, Solaria and Zartak, 4 Klingon fleets are trapped inside the pocket at Artalia, Iadara, Tarsas, Eladrel, and a Federation fleet at New Helena. This is a huge success for the Dominion, effectively having encircled almost an entire fleet group, an entire sector in this maneuver. But it is still quite a gamble, and there is of course a problem. They now have to divert a lot of resources to maintaining that encirclement, closing and pressuring the defenders and forcing them to surrender, and Klingons don't surrender, so the Dominion may well have bitten off more than it can chew. Still, the Dominion continue their advance, taking Maclex, and now are just 1 parsec away from Bellaris Prime. If successful, the Dominion will have captured 2 major homeworlds in a single month. So not only are they threatening to knock the Klingons out the war, but they may well cripple the Federation politically. In terms of morale, is absolutely crippling. It's just as bad as the losses that were made earlier in the war, and it's faster, and the Federation don't have the excuse that they weren't prepared. They were prepared, but they were just completely outflanked. The Dominion once again demonstrating their ability to wage an incredibly aggressive and unpredictable lightning war campaign, a campaign of maneuver warfare, absolutely outflanking and outmaneuvering the Federation, and they show no sign of stopping anytime soon. So in conclusion, the Dominion have completely stolen the initiative and are once again on the offensive when before they seemed firmly on the back foot. Now they are going forward. No one saw this coming. They've completely outmaneuvered the Allies and are potentially knocking the Klingons out of the war. This is all a gamble, a big gamble, and it might pay off, or it might not. We'll have to find out next time.